All dog tags extreme for Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. Before we discuss this route, it's important to note that the strategies in this video will be going for Big Boss rank on extreme, which means you have to play with game over if discovered and get no kills, no continues, and use no more than one ration. Because there is no radar requirement for Big Boss and Twin Snakes, we will be making ample use of the radar throughout this route. Unlike the lower difficulties where you could get by without using the radar, using the radar is going to be very essential for knowing timings of when and where to move. Out of the routes for all dog tags, Extreme has the most potential for varying strats and approaches, so this video is not going to cover everything, but we'll discuss what has been found so far to be the fastest approaches as of the making of this video. Throughout this video, I'm going to note various pickups that would not standardly be in the extreme route if you were just running the game normally. Helipad, tags 0, 1, 2, and 3. Heliport is one of the trickiest areas in the game because we don't have the M9 yet. We have to pick up the SOCOM from the truck and hold up guards that way. In addition, you have to be very careful about the guard cycles in this room. So to start, we're going to bait the guard from the opposite side over to speed up his cycle. You don't have to be that far to the left, but it's better to go as far left as possible so he notices you. And then you're going to make a noise on the floor, preferably in the middle, to lure that guard down, and then hold him up once you can squeak by him on the radar. Afterwards, groin punch him once he drops the tag, and then wait in this position to lure the second floor guard down, bring the guard on the heliport over, and then they're both going to investigate the body. Once they have their red exclamation marks up, you can hold them up. And ideally, if they're in a good position, you don't actually need to do anything else. You could just walk on by, roll over the noisy floor, and knock to bring this guard over. Hold him up, and then you're done with the room. Get out before any caution guards show up at the event, and you're home free. After you lure both guards over, you can go activate the camera while you're waiting. Here's another example of the same strat. Since we're starting out, it's important to know that the cone is not representative of their actual vision where they're going to spot you, so be aware of that it goes out farther than you think in terms of getting spotted. You can actually show yourself to the second floor guard earlier, then nut punch the guard there, but the cycle becomes really tight if you do it that way. You don't actually need to go over to that camera, but if you don't get a caution called, then you'll run into that camera cutscene later. This is so far to be found the fastest strategy, but there have been other strategies where you bait other guards down, like the vent guard, earlier than this. But personally, I find going for the vent guard last to be the easiest thing to do since he doesn't move at all, and all the other guards have a cycle. Tank Hangar, tags 4 and 5. We'll get 6 later. So as you approach the tank hangar, make sure to mash the right trigger to move faster. And then we're going to walk over these noisy tiles and then slip on to hold up this guard once he's in position. Then we're going to wait here and then bump into him. Walk on over and hold up this guard, and we're going to groin punch this guard so he doesn't see us as we're pressing the elevator button. Since we got the SOCOM early, we can get an early magazine for the tank later. And after the first wave of guards we need to go into the bathroom to pick up the book, and we'll be using the book later on in Warehouse at the end of the game.
What are you waiting for? Shoot!
Once again, you're going to have a lot of ammo, so you could empty out some clips here. And I would suggest going up and blowing up the top wall just for ammo purposes and being able to easily get through the tank. You can avoid this if you want, but the supplies up here are very useful, in my opinion, in terms of the resource management for all dog tags, Big Boss. Armory, tags 7, 8, and 10. We'll get 9 later. So the first strat, you need to bring yourself a little bit down before holding up this guard. If you run straight right, he'll see you out of his periphery. And then you can roll into him or throw him, whichever you prefer. But I do have to mention that there's this very occasional thing that can happen where the guard can see you further than he should. So if you want to be safe, just make sure to trank or judo throw or whatever. This next strat, we're going to bump to the left and then go over to this box and hold up Marcus. Now, as far as we know right now, this is the slightly slower strat. But depending on what your preferences are for the return trip to the armory, you may prefer this strategy. Tank Hangar, tag 6. Now sometimes you'll get spotted by the guard as you exit the elevator on extreme. And if you're a little bit spooked from that and worried that he might hear you shoot the SOCOM, you could just go straight over and pick up the suppressor guard now. If you do this, you'll have to take out the sensors or shoot the fire extinguisher and time your movement appropriately, so it's up to you. But it's better to do the suppressor guard later if you can manage it. Nuke Building B1, Johnny Sasaki, tag 31. So this is the same strategy you can use on normal. We're just going to knock on the wall, approach Meryl, and then stand in this position. Let her run into us, and then time our punches properly to groin punch her. This is the only time you can get the Johnny tag, so you gotta do it now. However, doing that groin punch can be a bit tricky, so if you are not a fan of that, what you can do instead is just double punch her until she knocks over. It's a bit slower than doing the groin punch, but more consistent. Psycho Mantis, tag 33. So near the end of Psycho Mantis, you'll want to go over and pick up the M9 ammo in the left corner of the room, because you're going to be needing M9 ammo in this route. And then make sure to pick up the body once you're finished with Mantis to get his tag. Tag 32, Meryl. Just make sure to trank Meryl in the head once you get to this point in the caves to get her tag. Tags 15 and 16, Nuke Building B1. So this strategy involves standing and moving into a certain position as you enter this office room. You could just run straight to the left towards the crate, and then the guard will come in, and then hold him up as he enters the room. Pick up the Pentaz while you're waiting, and then trank him or groin punch him. Now, if you're really fast, you can get the bathroom guard right now, but you don't want to mess that up, so I prefer just going straight for Wolf. After Wolf, you can pick up the M9 ammo here, however, it is a little bit slower than picking up the M9 ammo during Mantis. However, it is an option if you prefer it that way, since you're not in the middle of a fight in this situation. Armory return, tags 7, 9, and 10. So do a 2-punch buffer and then hold down, then down left to get around the corner quickly. Wait until Dave gets to the corner to hold him up, and then take him out. Then you're going to let this guard walk down, Marcus, and then hold both guards up. You can trank them both here or roll into them, bump into them, however you'd like to do it. Try to not activate that trap if you blow up the top left wall earlier in the armory. This is the faster strat. However, if you did take out Mark and Trez early, you can do the same approach, but let Dave get past the corner so that you can knock on the corner over here and he won't stop you from doing that. And then bait Kyle over, press the button to keep the elevator open, then hold up Kyle and get his tag. This is a little bit slower than getting the triple, but if you prefer this, this is an option. Tank Hangar, tag 6. So this is the same deal as earlier. If you didn't get the tag from the sleeping guard when you were going through the lasers, now is the time to do it. Canyon, tags 11, 12, 13, and 14. Alright, so this is a very tricky room, and there's a lot of different ways you can approach this. The problem with Canyon is the guard that's beyond the tank. We want to keep him around, otherwise he's going to take a cycle that's very slow to deal with. One at a time is the easier approach. We're going to hug this wall so that the guard doesn't spot us, trank the guard, bump into him, and run straight forward so that the guard beyond the tank spots us. Shoot out the camera, and then hold up the guard that came to investigate and trank him while holding him up. Bait the guard over by the pillar and hold him up. At this point, as long as the guard's facing a good way, we can move ourselves down and then bait this first guard over by noticing us. And at this point, we just pick up all the tags since we're within the 30-second interval, and then just exit. So this is going to be another example of one at a time, just to review. Again, we got to hug this rock wall as well as possible. Trank, walk straight forward to bring this guard over. Shoot out the camera. Trank and shoot the guard that was investigating. And then bring this guard over. Walk along the wall to hold him up. And get a nice easy shot right there. And in this example, I go and pick up the tags by the bodies. You don't have to do this, it's just an option if you prefer it that way. The really important part of this is the initial movement to bring only one guard over. You don't want to bring the pillar guard over unless you're trying to do the next strategy, which is quite different in execution. So this is the triple bait. It's a little bit faster. In this situation, we're going to wait until the guard goes to the tires of the tread and then bring over the two guards.
What was that just now? Don't kill me.
Then walk down, shoot out the camera, and then the guard below is going to notice us in the distance. He will eventually fall asleep, and then those two guards will investigate. And then we'll bring the bottom guard over yet again. We're going to trank these two guards. As you can see, there's a lot of moving parts here since you're dealing with all guards at once. But once you trank those last two guards and CO Sam's investigating, you just pick up all the tags and exit. Tag 16, Urinal Guard. So this is the same strategy as on normal. You just want to go into the bathroom before you head to disc 2 and hold this guard up at the urinal. This causes you to do another menu, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. Tag 34, Sniper Wolf. The important thing here is that you have to grab her from the legs. You can't grab her from her head. Snake finds it disrespectful. Tag 17, 18, 19, and 20, Blast Furnace. So credit for this strategy goes to Aurelian. We're going to be holding up the guard at the catwalk after we roll towards him. And then trank him in the head once he's done shaking down his tag. And then you can either knock on the little wall there or make noise at the noisy panel. Just be careful when you go down that you're not too close to that guard, because he could spot you as you're hanging down. And then we're going to roll up the stairs just for some speed purposes, and then do 4 punches at these guards. Hold them up, and then creep by them so you can hold them all up at once as they're all on top of each other. Then get all the tags and head on out. Vulcan Raven, Tag 35. After you defeat Vulcan Raven, come back down to the starting door to pick up his tag. Warehouse North, Tags 25 and 26. So the easiest way I've found to do this is to trank the guard as you're approaching him. Shoot the corner to distract the guard that's coming to investigate. Then trank the guard again to make him fall asleep. Hold him up, and then trank, then roll into him, and wait a second for this guard to fall asleep. That way when you come back, he will be asleep. Underground Base, Tags 27, 28, 29, and 30. So for the first guard, the easiest way to approach this is to use your SOCOM suppressor to keep the guard held up. So we're going to shoot him as we go left. Hold him up, bump into him, hold him up again. Then bump into him, roll into him so he goes over the edge and dies accidentally. At this point, we're going to focus on the top guard, who's patrolling the catwalk on the left side. So we're going to stun the guard with some SOCOM shots. These guards take a lot of damage on extreme, so don't worry about it. Just pace out your shots. Tap, tap, tap. Then trank him in the head, and by the time you get to the stairs, he will be asleep. After the cutscene, we are going to drop down and take out the rat with the SOCOM suppressed. Aim to the left of the item box for the easiest shot, but you can also try to get the rat earlier. However, that shot is very consistent. You can plan on it quite easily. The rat is a very small hitbox, so just make sure to aim well and know what the path of the rat is, since it is a consistent path. Warehouse Return, Tags 21, 22, 23, and 24. So Warehouse is one of the harder areas in this run because there's 4 guards we have to deal with. This strategy, the Yeah Baby book, is the fastest strat we've found so far. The tough part about this strategy is that you need to do a quick buffer to lure all the guards over and turn very tightly around the corner so you don't get spotted. Knock to bring those 2 guards over, and make sure to position the book high enough to bring the lower guard over to read the book. Trank the 2 guards, and then hold up these 2 guards when they're in line with each other, and then get their tags. Head on out. Like I said, the book position is extremely important. Ideally, it's to the top and right. This is the cool book strategy, which is a little bit easier. Drop the book immediately and go down this column.
What was that just now?
And then hold up this guard.
Don't kill me.
And this guard will be investigating the wall, and we can hold him up.
Please.
We can bait that guard from above, down below, pick up the tags, then hold him up as he's investigating the body. The other guard, who just said cool, is enamored with the book, so we're just going to move up here, hold him up, and get the final tag.
Help.
Enemy nearby.
This is just a variant on this strategy. There's a faster version that Tyler does, and you can see that video below. Now that we're back in underground base, we're going to go straight for the computer room and put in the room temperature key. We'll be dealing with the lower left and top right guards afterwards. So we're going to run up to this guard's body and retrank him. And this lower guard is going to go and investigate. You could sit at the edge of the balcony crouched, or just kind of put yourself in position to hold him up once he gets to the top of the stairs. And then this guard, we're going to do the same strategy of shooting him multiple times to keep him stunned, and then hold him up. Just make sure you pay attention to the auto aim, that you can confirm that Snake is aiming at the guard, because you don't want to just start shooting willy-nilly. You want to make sure that Snake's actually aiming at the guard and then start shooting at a fairly even pace, not so slow that he can spot you and he's out of his grunting animation, and not so fast that you kill him. I use the cries of pain as an audio cue of when to keep on shooting.
Freeze.
Liquid Snake, tag 36. And all you gotta do is make sure to knock him off the platform to get his tag during the fight. After all is said and done, go back to Special at the main menu with a save completed, and check out your 100% dog tags from the dog tag viewer. Thanks to the following individuals for helping with routing. We accomplished a lot in a short period of time for this category. If you want to learn more about Metal Gear speedrunning, check out metalgearspeedrunners.com.